What's going on, everybody? Another Wednesday is here, and it's time for Lost on the Shelf episode 4. I can't believe I'm doing this for 4 weeks already. That's kind of cool. It's late. It's like after 10 o'clock on Wednesday night. I'm just getting to this now, unfortunately. If anybody watched my video review of Attack of the Killer Refrigerator, which if you didn't, go check it out. Uh, I mentioned that everybody in my family has been sick for the past 2 weeks. I'm still standing, but yeah, I'm tired. I've just been dealing with so much of that, and I worked at home today. I normally do this at like lunchtime on like my lunch break, and yeah, just dealing with all of that. There was just no chance of doing that, so here I am. So before it gets any later, because I get up early in the morning for work, let's talk about a couple movies that I pulled off the shelf. Now, because I have been dealing with all of this, over the weekend I actually pulled out a couple of movies to watch that I actually talked myself out of. The reason I did that was because they were going to involve a little more thinking, a little more paying attention. Not that I wasn't paying attention watching these, but it was something that was going to require like 100% attention to detail. So I actually talked myself out of those. I may watch those for next week. I'm just set off on the side for now. But the two that I ended up picking are horror comedies. And with horror comedies, if you are a fan of horror comedies, you know that you can watch them and enjoy them, but you don't have to be, you're not solving a murder mystery. It's not heavy thinking or anything like that. So you can just watch it, enjoy it, and move on. So that's what I decided to do this time around. These two films, if you've seen them, let me know your thoughts about them. If you haven't, I hope this inspires you to maybe seek them out. And just like my other ones, I've seen plenty of comments and heard from people that said, like, hey, I have not seen the couple you spoke about. I'm gonna have to check those out. So yeah, hopefully, if you've never seen these, hopefully I'm gonna talk about will help you want to check them out. So the first one is from 2014, and it is called Zombieverse. This one, I don't have my fingers over it, but this is actually the UK Blu-ray. The US Blu-ray is out of print. There is one on Amazon US, but that is actually a BDR if you care. But this, I believe, is still in print. I will try to take a quick look when I'm done to see if it actually is in print. And I will mention it below. But anyway, 2014 film. The film starts with a couple guys in a work truck having quite the interesting conversation, and it's Bill Burr, the comedian Bill Burr, and John Mayer. So it kind of gives you an idea of just how exactly this movie is going to go, just with their dialogue and banter back and forth. Anyway, as they're driving down the road, after a little bit of conversation, Bill Burr has his phone out in front of him, and there's a deer in the middle of the road. And John Mayer's like, you see that deer, right? And he's not looking. He's just looking at his phone. Like, yeah, I see it. Of course, he's not looking. So they get into an accident, and this small little barrel, flies off the back of the truck, bounces into the water, and starts heading downstream. And once it gets downstream, it stops in front of a beaver dam and pops open and starts spraying green toxic waste all over the place. So that's how we begin. And right after that, we have three sorority girls headed out for a weekend away at one of the girls' cousins has a house right by the lake. So that's where they're heading. One of the girls, her name is Jen. Her boyfriend cheated on her. So no boy weekend, just all girls, just it's all about Jen. Let's get her in the right state of mind and all that. So once they get there, after an interesting conversation with one of the neighbors, they head out to the lake to enjoy a little swim. There's a dock in the middle of the lake. And when they are out there, Jen sees a dam and wants to go find some beavers. When they go over there, they see there's this green slime all over the place and whatnot, which they just assume is beaver piss. They are a little leery about it, but whatever, it's beaver piss. This is where we meet Smith, who is played by, I've got it written down here because I always forget his name. You know his face as soon as you see him, but Rex Maynard. He's been in a ton of movies. I can just rattle them off. He always plays like a cop or like an FBI agent, whatnot. Now he's just a guy hunting in the woods. He actually scares off a bear that was not far from the girls. They have a little bit of interesting conversation with Rex. You can't tell if he's just like an asshole or like a horny older guy with college girls. You just can't tell. It's very well done. He just warns them about the beavers and to stay away from them. He has no idea of what's actually happening, but he just basically tells them to just stay away from the beavers' homes. They head back to they head back to the place they're staying at, and they get some surprise visitors that night. The boyfriends show up, so no more girls only weekend. Jen's, I guess, ex-boyfriend that cheated on her, or possibly boyfriend, maybe they haven't broken up yet, he is there as well. And after they are there for a little bit, they have their first encounter in the house with a beaver. It was Jen who comes across it, and she believes that it's rabid. They try to kill it. They think they kill it. They throw it in a garbage bag, throw it out on the porch, and just leave it there for the night. The next morning, the bag is ripped open and it's gone. You see little bloody paw prints and whatnot. They just figure, well, they're in the middle of nowhere. Just another animal came to get it. Head out to the lake, and while they are in the lake, Jen stays on shore. She wants nothing to do with the lake, and several of the guys are making fun of her while they're in the water, and one of those guys is attacked and gets his foot bitten off, and it goes from there, and it is hilarious. The dialogue, you know, the girls and the guys are obviously like college kids. Rex's dialogue is hysterical. He's in a decent amount of the movie. But the banter between them, like friends breaking friends' chops, you know, one of the girls, Zoe, is like very, very good looking, and her boyfriend, you would look at him and say, he's not all that good looking. The things that come out of his mouth when he is with her is just hilarious. Lots of good special effects, all practical. The beavers are, I think they used like CGI very, very little with some of the beavers, but a lot of it you could tell is like animatronic. There are some special features. One of them is building a beaver. And I know they do show you how they do some of it. They do some of it with like clay and the animatronics of the beavers, but a whole lot of banter back and forth. That's just hysterical. Some other special features, some auditions. Man becomes monster. I believe that's has to do with transformation they do on Rex. Little spoiler. Deleted scene, behind the scenes. The only problem I have with the special features are everything on there is like very short. Like of all the special features, I think you can sit there and watch it in maybe 10-15 minutes tops. So that's a little disappointing. I know a lot of UK Blu-rays are like that. I don't have the US one. I think I had ended up getting this one because it was cheaper at the time. It's region free. I did not mention that. So there's no region issues about that if you are not a region free person. Again, I will check to see if it is still in print, but absolutely hysterical zombie beavers killing people and running amok. Hilarious dialogue. A lot of fun. Short film. I think it's only 77 minutes. If my memory serves right, which I can't even see right now. Yeah, I can't find it. But yeah, I believe it was right around 77 minutes. It wasn't a long movie. Didn't waste time. Didn't overstay its welcome. But there's your cover. Try not to get the glare. Let me know if you've seen this one. Yeah. So, like I said, I was tired and dealing with everything. I just did not want to have to watch something that I had to really, really like focus on, pay attention, solve the mystery or anything like that. I just needed stupid, entertaining shit. And that's what I got with that film. And this next film, which is a little bit older, it's 2006, Black Sheep. Not Black Sheep with Chris Farley. This Black Sheep. This one is from, as I said, 2006. It was made in New Zealand. And another film that is absolutely ridiculous with dialogue. It takes place in New Zealand, and you can see a lot of influence here from Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson, I believe he is actually from New Zealand, but you know, Brain Dead, Dead Alive, all those were filmed in New Zealand. Even Lord of the Rings was filmed in New Zealand. But this one, you have starts with a father, his boy, and somebody else that I didn't really look like his son, but the three of them are trying to herd sheep back to where they belong in their pens. They have a dog out there with them. Another boy is watching from off in a distance and is just not happy. He's got some sort of brace on one of his legs from like the knee down. So I guess that is not allowing him to go out there. They're on quads trying to keep all the sheep together and whatnot. I guess that prevented him from doing that. Turns out that that is Angus. Angus is the brother of one of the boys that are out there by the name of Henry. Henry has a pet sheep that is kept by the house, and after Angus sees them out there, he kind of had like a sourpuss on his face and walks away. He went back to the house, got an axe, and killed the sheep, Henry's sheep that's by the home. Henry coming back to the home, goes into the barn. He's looking for his pet and can't find him. Ends up in a barn, and that's where Angus attacks him. And when Angus attacks him, I think he skinned. I think that's probably the best way to say it. He beheaded and skinned the sheep, so he is actually like wearing it. The head is over his, and he's covered in blood. Just running at Henry and scaring the ever-living hell out of him. Their mom, I believe it's their mom, comes out and said that your father, there's been an accident. They don't go into what the accident was. You don't see what the accident was. The next thing is it's 15 years later. You come to see a cab that is surrounded by sheep, and somebody in the backseat absolutely freaking out. And it turns out that is Henry. The prank that was pulled on him by his brother Angus has given him mental problems that he has to talk to a therapist and whatnot, who he tries to call from the car. Anyway, he's returning to the farm on some family business. once he is there, we meet the other boy that had been out there with him and his father. His name is Tucker. Um, I think he was like I don't know if he was a nephew or somebody that was like adopted. He called somebody auntie at some point. So it isn't exactly clear on his relationship, but he was on the farm then. And this is 15 years later. He's still working there. So they're going back to the home, and they come across two. Well, there's two activists on the property. They keep going past a car that was there, and they are trying to get the place shut down. They're looking for evidence of biological nonsense. One of them, his name is Grant, and the other one's name is Experience. No bullshit. Grant takes off because he sees a bunch of guys in white lab coats come outside with a cooler, and he grabs something out of the cooler and runs away. He's spotted. Everybody starts chasing after them. Once they get away, they're hiding in the woods while everybody's looking for them, and they have this jar with what looks like some sort of dead baby lamb, like very, very small, like that, like a very, very small jar. So it's very, very tiny, tiny looking infant lamb that doesn't even look like it was something that was like ever like actually born or anything like that. It's that small. While they're trying to figure out how to get out of there and talking back and forth, Grant and Experience, he takes off running because they're coming to find him. They see him. He trips, the jar breaks, and before you know it, that dead looking lamb is not dead. It comes over, it's got a hold of him, and starts ripping his ear off. It starts pulling out, it's all stretched out and everything like that. The chunks of his face are coming off, all practical effects. And this tiny lamb looks very similar, if you're a fan of Brain Dead, to the rat monkey that is in the that they capture on the island and have in the zoo briefly. Reason that is because the effects in this, I had to look it up because I just couldn't remember, it is done by the same special effects company called Weedaworks, who did Brain Dead, Meet the Feebles, Lord of the Rings, all Peter Jackson. Didn't have Bad Taste on their list, which I found interesting. I have to look up who actually had done that, but it made sense. It's New Zealand, as I said in the beginning, and the gore and everything in this movie definitely is silly, Brain Dead like, not nearly as much as Brain Dead, because as we know, Brain Dead is absolutely ridiculous, but there's a whole lot of good practical effects here. So anyway, after Grants gets bitten up, Experience comes across Henry and Tucker and gets a gun out of Henry's truck, tries to hold them up. It doesn't work well because she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. They get the gun back rather easily. And once they do that, they see smoke coming from the house. So they all jump into the car. Even Experience, they just let her jump in the back of the truck because she's looking for Grant. She thinks they have something to do with him missing because she lost track of him. Grant has his own issues going on. But once they get back to the house, there's blood everywhere. The fire was like a little small, like a pot fire on the stove. They're looking around the home, and there's an older gentleman there. I don't think you ever saw like who he was. I think the first time you saw him was in this scene, and he's got his throat ripped open. Then they turn around, and there's the lamb. There's the sheep that did it. And he charges at them. They close the door behind him, and this thing starts breaking the door down with its face. They shoot it once. Okay, we're good. Nope. Gets up, they shoot it again, and now it's dead. So it just starts to go from there. And anybody that is bitten starts to turn into like an upright standing lamb. Um, there's a little bit of CGI used with some of the transportations. Wow, transformations. Um, but mostly everything else is all practical effects. As I said, it's the same company that Works that worked on Peter Jackson films. So it is. Obviously, it's 2006, whereas the Peter Jackson films were from the early 90s. I think Brain Dead was 1992, I believe. So it's 14 years later. It is very realistic looking, the gore that they use. It's also very silly, just like Dead Alive and Brain Dead, with intestines and body parts and just blood flying all over the place. A lot of banter back and forth, and in this too, the script is very good because there's a lot of funny things said, and just like in Zombievers, like there's plenty of lines throughout that as you're sitting there watching it. You probably have a smile on your face watching it, and then just start laughing out loud several times. This one is a little bit longer, but I think it's just a normal like hour and a half movie. I'm sorry, it's a little bit shorter than 83 minutes. It's a little bit shorter than that. But fantastic practical effects of gore on this one. Same with Zombievers, and just a blast, just a fun one. As you can see, this is another another UK Blu-ray. This one on the back says Region B, but it is not Region B. It is region free. Tested it on all of my machines, and when I watched this for this week, I watched it on my portable player, which is just a straight up Region A player. So have no fear. I believe like with this one, there was a US Blu-ray, and the same kind of thing. It was cheaper to get the UK one. This is one that I would love to see somebody do a nice special edition here in the States, because it's that entertaining. It's very funny and great effects, as I said probably entirely too many times now. Special features on this one. There was some making of documentary. I think that was about a half hour long, if I remember. It was pretty decent. It was a decent amount. Some deleted scenes, some hilarious bloopers, and there's a director's commentary as well on this disc. So definitely, this is a UK one I will look up again, just like Zombievers, to see by chance if it is still in print. US one is definitely not in print. I will check to see if there's a burned copy of this as well, like Zombievers on Amazon US. In the comments below, I'll just put film 1, film 2, just so you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Now you know. It's kind of pointless to say that now, but that's why it just says film 1, film 2 on the bottom, just so it didn't give anything away. So that's what I got for this week. 2 horror comedies, Black Sheep and Zombievers, both entertaining as hell, hilarious, and great practical effects on both. Highly recommend it if you have never seen either one. If you have, let me know. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your comments. Thank you again for watching episode 4 now. I'll figure out what to do next week, if I go back to the original 2 I had for this week, or I just flip it and go in a different direction. I definitely had pulled out, I think I pulled out about 6 movies, and I decided on 2 and then talked myself out of it. And these were actually not part of the 6 I originally picked. So that's how this week went. All right, I should probably go to sleep because I have to get up early in the morning for work. Thank you again. Give me a like, a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not. I'm going to do some sort of giveaway soon for sure. I know I'm around 250 for subscribers. I don't know if I'm gonna wait till 300. I may do it before that. I may do it at 250. I'm not too sure, but I'll figure all that out. And if you are subscribed, you will definitely know about it. Thanks again. Have a good night.